This is Citizen Live at 1. A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Hussein Mohammed. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta today moved to entrench efficiency and effectiveness in public service by officially launching the biometric registration of civil servants. The exercise is aimed at weeding out ghost workers. We'll bring you the story shortly. And we cross over live now to Harambee House, where the process is also, or has also kicked off. Francis Gashuri is our reporter there. Gashuri, what's going on?
I don't know whether, Hussein, you're a ghost worker or not, because today could be the beginning of the end of ghost workers in the civil service. And what we witnessed a short while ago was the launch of the capturing of the biometric data for all the civil servants, that is in the national government and in the county governments. The process kicks off at the national level between today and the 14th of this month, and also in Nairobi County government, and thereafter from the 14th to the 11th of October the process will now be rolled out to the other 46 county governments, and basically is to ensure that the government gets to know the number of civil servants in the country, number one, and number two, essentially weed out the ghost workers, and thirdly, identify the qualifications, functions, and the competence of the civil servants so that they can be placed effectively in their line of expertise, and to ensure that there is what you call staff rationalization. This morning we witnessed the capturing of the biometric data for the head of civil service, Joseph Kinyua, the cabinet secretary in charge of interior affairs and coordination of national government, Joseph Olelenku, and other principal secretaries who are also here for the launch of this national exercise. And Hussein, to just give us an idea of what the government intends to do with this exercise is Engineer Peter Mangiti, the principal secretary in the Ministry of Devolution and National Planning, basically to tell us what the government aims at doing or achieving with this exercise. Karibu Bona PS. Of course, there is apprehension out there that probably some people are saying this is an exercise to weed out ghost workers. Others are saying this is probably the government's nice words of restructuring or sending civil servants home. What exactly is the government looking for in this biometric data capturing or the rationalization process?
Thank you very much. I would like to say that the biometric data capture exercise that has been kicked off today by His Excellency the President is just one of the stages of the rationalization, whose key objective is to align functions and competencies both at the national and county levels in conformity with the Constitution. That is the overarching objective. In terms of fears, questions about whether there will be victimization or anything of that sort, nothing could be further from the truth. Basically, the drive is to ensure that you have an effective, efficient public service that is geared and aligned to the functions that are envisaged in the Constitution, both at the national and the county governments. Yes. It
is no longer a secret, Bona PS, that there are many civil servants who are earning from the public, from the taxpayers' money, yet they don't work in the civil service, what you call ghost workers. What becomes of the so-called ghost workers, and most importantly, to the people who have been pocketing the money in the guise of people who are purported to have been working for the government?
Indeed, the question of ghost workers within the government payroll system has been a problem and a challenge for us. Recently, as you may know, we carried out a rapid assessment and confirmed that indeed there could be cases of ghost workers within the ranks of the public service, specifically in the payroll system. This first stage, as I said, of the rationalization exercise is actually meant to, among other things, sort out the problem of ghost workers. Because we want to have a system that is, has integrity, the records are of integrity, and from there we shall now be able to roll out to the second phase, or the second stage, which is re-engineering and reorganizing the public service, followed by, of course, implementation of deployment and possible cases where there is exit where necessary. Yes.
What does one require for this exercise, and what becomes of service delivery on one hand and this process on the other? Are we going to shut down government offices to conduct this exercise first, or are we going to do them simultaneously?
Well, starting with what is required, they are basic. Your ID, your employment documents, specifically the first letter of appointment and the current letter of appointment to the position that you are in, certificates and testimonials, originals that you should be able to give out, your birth certificate, basically the biodata that is required for the records of government as regards its public servants. Now, with regard to the scheduling or of the exercise, it has been done in such a way that there will be least disruption of public services. Because in the first place, this exercise is supposed to eventually make public services, among other programs the government has rolled out, to make public services effective and efficient. What we have done, what we are going to do, is that within, let's talk at the national level, within each Ministry or State departments, they will schedule, they will have an internal schedule of registration that has started today, probably by directorates, so that there's least disruption of services as possible. Yes.
Asante. Thank you very much, Bwana PS. Hussein, there are also civil servants who are disabled. Maybe we don't have maybe the fingers or have one disability or the other. What will happen is that for those who don't, let's say, have fingers, their biometric data will be captured using their facial features, that is their faces, their eyes, and so on and so forth. But basically, just to ensure that they are easily identifiable in their respective areas of operation. That's all for now, Hussein. Definitely we'll have more for our viewers in our subsequent bulletins, and my colleague Alex Kubasu is also standing by at the county government offices here in Nairobi just to tell us whether the process of smoking out the ghost workers is going on there. Back to you, Hussein.
Right, Gashuri, thank you very much. Of course, like he said, we'll be crossing over to City Hall to join Alex Kubasu in a short while. The process is also taking place in county government, starting with Nairobi. But before that, the search for the 6 people believed to have drowned on Saturday afternoon in River Nzoia, Budalangi, has entered day 3, although no bodies have been recovered so far. According to the head of the rescue team, the search will be extended downstream to where the River Nzoia joins Lake Victoria to establish if the bodies have been washed into the lake.
It's 3 days since the ill-fated boat capsized, and the victims' families are still camping at the river banks day and night, hoping that the rescue team will give them good news. The government has provided 4 boats to help in the rescue mission, though the team is not able to work at night due to lack of proper equipment. According to the head of the rescue team, Stephen Osogo, it is suspected that the bodies may have been washed downstream to where the river joins the lake.
Na ndani huko sasa ni vile tunasunguka, na najua meandering ya river hiyo iko riski sana. Hata inabidi tu sisi wenye tunaenda huko kama wenyeji tunajua how to negotiate ama tackling the corners za meandering hizo.
The rescue mission, however, is marred with a myriad of problems, among them lack of professional divers and shortage of fuel to conduct longer search. The families camping by the riverside have also requested the government to provide them with food and water after a temporary camp was started by the riverbank.
Hii familia vile iko hapa inahitaji usaidizi wa chakula, kwa sababu hata chakula, nets, blankets, that's why I'm calling even Red Cross pia ikuje kwa hii usaidizi.
The boat was carrying 16 people. 9 out of the 16 managed to swim to safety, while one body of a 15-year-old boy was recovered. 6 others are still missing. Michael Njenga, live at 1.
Right, back to the biometric registration of civil servants, and we now cross over to City Hall. The process is also taking place in county governments. It has begun with Nairobi County, and Alex Kubasu is our man on the ground. Alex.
Yes, indeed, Hussein Mohammed, we are live at the Nairobi City County headquarters here in Nairobi, where the process of biometric registration has just been concluded, or rather kick-started, by the registration of His Excellency the Governor of Nairobi, Dr. Evans Kidero, as well as his deputy, Jonathan Mweke. And I'm now joined live with the Governor himself to shed some light on what really went down. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Yeah. Thank you very much. As you will recall, the Gazette notice of 2nd May 2014, number 2919, specified the program, that is the rationalization, assessment and capacity assessment and rationalization of public service. And today we kicked it off here, and we went through, and this process requires identification, where you have your ID, you have your qualifications, you have everything that says who you are and what you do. And of course that will enable us to assess the manpower that we have against the service delivery objectives that we have and match the two.
Okay, Daktari, Nairobi City County, for close to for over 18 months that you've been as the governor, there have been claims that it is one that is plagued with very many ghost workers, but your audit some times ago also revealed the same. So how have you been handling those cases as they have been coming?
We've had various processes in the past, and the latest one is that we did take the records of all our workers and match them with the records at the National Registration Bureau, and also we match them with the records at the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and we match them with the bank accounts that we have, and we also match them with the tax records. And in the last exercise we had, we found well over 300 cases which were non-compliant, and those were dealt with fairly conclusively. And I think this exercise as well will go a long way in probably managing the numbers that we got, because we did get well over 5,600 workers from central government who had not gone through this exercise.
So the biometric registration, is it going to be like the panacea of ghost workers, both here in Nairobi County and also in the whole country, in your view?
I think it's much more than that, because it's the right of Kenyans and Nairobians to get good service. And the primary aim and objective of this process is to look at our capacity in terms of manpower and also match it to our requirements. That's one objective. But also the second objective is to ensure that the capacities that are in existence in books but not in person are also dealt with. So yes, it will help weed out the workers who are not part of service delivery.
Thank you so much, Dr. Governor. And Hussein, like our senior reporter Francis Gashuri had indicated to you, the process has kick-started in Nairobi County as well as the national government, and it will be cascaded to all the other remaining 46 counties, and it is expected to end at least by the end of October this year. Already 700 senior government officials trained to help in the rationalization process are on the ground and trying to put everything together so that the process would run smoothly. So from the Nairobi City County, which is the heartbeat of Nairobi and Kenya, as I may put it, the process has begun, and all workers will be required to have all the necessary documentation now going forward, so that to be able to make the process smooth and also hopefully to weed out the ghost workers who've been taking a huge, about 1.8 billion Kenya shillings annually from the statistics that have been collected so far. So back to you, Hussein Mohammed, in studio, and we shall be able to give our viewers a comprehensive bulletin regarding the biometric registration as well as rationalization process that is ongoing. Back to you, Hussein.
Right, Alex Kubasu from Nairobi City County Hall. We'll be crossing over to Afya House, where Patrick Iguza is standing by. Remember, this whole process was launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta today, who moved to entrench efficiency and effectiveness in public service by officially launching the biometric registration of civil servants. The exercise is aimed at weeding out ghost workers.
As civil servants countrywide got on with the biometric registration exercise, President Uhuru Kenyatta too was getting his biometric data taken. Speaking today at State House Mombasa, where he launched the exercise by being the first to register, President Kenyatta said the exercise will help weed out ghost workers and ensure Kenyans receive the quality service they deserve.
I think this exercise will go a long way towards eliminating the issue of ghost workers, because this has been a big concern for government, but also not just for government, for the citizens of this republic who are the taxpayers who carry the burden of our wage bill.
The president assured civil servants that the exercise meant to verify staff on government payroll and their qualification is not meant to victimize but to ensure that all public servants are accounted for. At the same time, President Kenyatta called on all public servants to cooperate and participate in the registration exercise to expedite its completion.
I want to be very clear that this is not an exercise that is aimed at punishing anybody. This is not an exercise that is aimed at victimizing anybody. I call upon all public servants to participate willingly. It is in their interest, as much as it is in the people of Kenya's interest, for us to be able to know exactly who works for the Kenyan government and in which department they work, so that we are better able to manage the very scarce resources that we have as a nation.
He said the exercise will be rolled out across the nation and county governments and all government agencies. Speaking during the occasion, Devolution Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru, who is leading the registration exercise, thanked the president for leading by example by being the first public servant to register.
This was incorporated in the rationalization program, which is a capacity assessment and rationalization program of government. It's a joint initiative, Your Excellency, under your instructions, for both the national government and the county governments.
To register, the public servants are required to present an original national ID card, a completed biometric data form, original academic and professional certificates, letters of first and current appointments, a current payslip and a birth certificate. Michael Njenga for Live at 1.
Well, the process is currently ongoing in various government ministries. One of them is Afya House, where Patrick Iguza is standing by. Patrick.
Thank you very much indeed, Hussein Mohammed, coming there from the studio. We are coming to you live from Afya House on this very, very important day, a day when all government ministries are actually undertaking this biometric registration of its workers. And here we have been witnessing things unfold here at this particular building, where very early in the morning we had the Cabinet Secretary in charge of health, that's James Macharia, actually leading the rest of officers in this docket in actually biometrically registering themselves, just to distinguish the real workers from those so-called ghost workers, people who are not in the company's in the ministry's database rather. And so far we've had about 15 individuals having been registered since the exercise officially kicked off sometime about 10 o'clock in the morning. And people are actually appreciating this exercise. Just a bit of complaint that it's a bit too slow, because an individual is taking about 5 to about 10 minutes to completely get registered. But according to officers who are okay, they are complaining. They are saying that it's actually taking them about 30 minutes to have them registered and verified whether they are actually workers belonging to this particular docket, something that perhaps might be attributed to the biometric system here. It's not that easy. And another issue here is that perhaps some of these people, officers and other junior workers who are coming to be verified, actually are not having their papers in order, but that is being sorted out. And right now I am joined by Mr. Enoka Omwenga, who's from Ernst & Young and is very instrumental in this exercise. He's the one overseeing that everything runs in accordance to plan. And so he will briefly take us through this exercise and what distinguishes a real worker from a ghost worker. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Enoch.
Thank you.
Perhaps if you may just tell us very briefly, from where does this process begin and where does it end?
The process begins at the point where a staff presents him or herself to the room. We have a verifying officer who checks through all the documentations that the staff has in terms of the letters of employment, certificates, birth certificates, national ID. Prior to that, the staff would have completed a questionnaire against which all that verification is done. Once the verification is done by the verifying officer, then the staff moves to the biometric machine, whereby the details on the questionnaire is captured in the system. Once it's captured in the system, then the fingerprints are taken. Then there is an electronic sign-off. From there, a photo is taken, and at the end of the day, the staff is issued with an identification, like an identification card.
What
that is an employee.
Okay, what distinguishes a ghost worker from a real employee of this docket, for instance?
Okay, for instance, if somebody comes in with some details that are not...
Well, we apologize for that. We have a slight problem with sound. We'll try to get Igunza later. Moving on, a plane with 3 passengers on board headed from Magadi in Kenya went missing last evening after taking off from Mwanza in Tanzania. According to Kenya Airport's police unit boss, Joseph Oletito, the search for the light aircraft is underway. In fact, we are getting reports right now that the plane that went missing crashed in Serengeti and the 3 people on board burnt beyond recognition, but we'll be confirming those reports for you in a short while. Now, the aircraft belonging to Safari Express Aviation Company reportedly disappeared from the radar soon after takeoff yesterday at about 7:26 p.m. The Focus 27 MK500 plane registration 5Y SXP was to stop at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi at 8:36 p.m. Sunday, but failed to show up as scheduled. Oletito said police choppers were this morning dispatched to search for the plane. Police in Narok have apprehended 2 suspects who are allegedly in possession of 2 elephant tusks with an estimated value of 120,000 shillings and zebra meat approximately worth 60,000. The suspects were arrested in 2 separate incidents. The first suspect was arrested with the tusks weighing 4 kilograms each along the Lemek-Narok Road in Narok South, while the second suspect was intercepted at Suswa along the Narok-Maimahi Road. Narok North OCPD, Paul Letting, says the poachers may have sourced killed animals at the Masai Mara Game Reserve.
Through the information from members of the public around Suswa, had been spotted with a vehicle parked on the roadside. This created some curiosity because it delayed for some time. And Wananchi, by good luck, monitored and found that it was actually conveying cave meat, which is a zebra meat, which has been established to be zebra meat. We are appealing to the courts for those who have been arrested in connection with these cited activities. At least very, very punitive penalties should be offered so that it really sends a clear message that an issue of illegal poaching, illegal logging, and game hunting should be the things of the past.
The pupils at Ilkek Primary School in Suswa, Narok got a major boost after members of the Lions Club announced they will fund the construction of a dormitory and dining hall to the tune of 16 million shillings. The new facilities are expected to reduce the challenges faced by pupils at the school who usually walk long distances to attend classes. Hassan Farah now brings us to the details.
Pupils from Ilkeek Area Primary School in Nairobi County are a happy lot after members of the Lions Club Thika Chania Falls branch helped build a dormitory and dining hall worth over 16 million shillings. The project will see at least 100 girls benefit in the first phase, which has already begun in earnest. Most pupils in the area drop out of school due to hardship they experience, and this in turn has seen a drop in education standards. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony for the project, the club's president Kapil Sharma said children from the pastoralist community in Suswa continue facing challenges such as female genital mutilation and forced early marriages and walking long distances.
Education is becoming like a universal right. So if children really have to travel long distances, they are discouraged. So we feel that it's important that we build a dormitory over here so that children don't have to go long distances.
The school head Tonkei Olpempa on his part said the school has been registering an increase in enrollment with a pupil population of 185 this year, up from 136 last year.
Ukijaribu kuangalia last year we had a miniscore, tulikuwa na miniscore ya 271. Ukijaribu kukombea na ile ya 2012 tulikuwa na miniscore ya 205. Kwa hivyo tumeenda hatua 66 kutoka kwa miniscore ya 205 to 271. So tukipata dormitory kama hii, tunajua ya kuwa hakika performance ya shule itaenda, tutapata miniscore, target yetu itakuwa miniscore ya alama 300 na zaidi.
The Narok executive in charge of education and social service Ezekiel Rono also said that half of the students who enroll in both primary and secondary schools do not complete their course.
With the help of the chiefs, provincial administration and ward administrators, we are going to cap that problem once and for all. And this dormitory will keep them within school, and they will be able, they will not be exposed any longer.
Hassan Farah, Citizen Live at 1.
Now, for many decades, pedestrians crossing the busy Nairobi-Mombasa highway at several points in the city have decried the lack of footbridges there. Thousands have lost their lives and many more have been left disabled, according to the Kenya National Highways Authority. There is hope, however, after Kenya began the construction of several footbridges. Many families, nonetheless, continue living with the emotional scars of losing their loved ones in accidents at crossing points where there were no footbridges. Abdi Osman reports.
If they had a choice, many of these pedestrians would rather not cross this dangerous stretch of the Mombasa Road near Bellevue, Nairobi South Sea. But for many, they simply don't have that luxury, as there is no footbridge at this vital crossing linking Nairobi South Bay and Nairobi South Sea estates. Many cross this stretch daily to make it to either of the two sprawling city estates, to eke out a living or to visit friends and family, or to seek government services at several parastatal offices close to Popo Road in Nairobi's South Sea. The menacing speeding and at times hooting cars on this multiple-lane highway, however, make this a venture not for the faint-hearted. There are, of course, one or two rogue motorcyclists who choose to ignore using the road and join pedestrians at the crossing, but they're an exception. Nearby, a footbridge is under construction, one of the two coming up along this busy highway at GM and Bellevue. This is an artist's impression of how the footbridges will look upon completion.
These two footbridges will cost approximately 350 million, both of them.
But for now, the pedestrians will have to risk life and limb daily. Many make it across, others though are not so lucky. Those who work nearby, including taxi drivers at the Bellevue stage, have a story of the never-ending spate of accidents, deaths and injuries witnessed here, almost on a daily basis.
Wale watu wamekufia hapa ni watu wengi nimeona, zaidi ya 60. Wale wamekufia hapa nikiona, wamegongwa, mwingine tulikuwa tunafuka na yeye wa hapa Ilimbia, akagongwa na ngali na the foreign day akakufa.
The worst ni ya jamaa fulani aligongwa na matatu akarushiwa trailer naye ikamsiaga vibaya sana. So hiyo day tukawa tumejam si wote, tukachukua action, tukafunga barabara na pole kwa kusema hivyo, ni kwa utu, ilibidi saa tuchukue action ili bridge ijengwe.
The volume of pedestrian crossing at Nyao Stadium was in the region of 50,000 per day. Bellevue is in the region of 9,700 per day. At GM where we are is in the region of 10,700, and City Cabanas is in the region of 50,000 per day.
The tragedy of it all is captured in the number of deaths and injuries witnessed along this busy highway. According to the Highways Authority, police figures from the industrial area and Embakasi police station show that in the year 2010, there were 183 accidents between City Cabanas and Nyayo National Stadium, 138 of them involving pedestrians. There were a total of 262 victims and 75 of them lost their lives. At a nearby garage right in the heart of South Sea Estate, Bernard Ogola, a mechanic who has been working in the area for over 2 decades, tells us of the tragedy of the killer crossing nearby.
Tumewahi poteza karibu watu 10, wale tunafanya kazi nao, na wale wamejeruhiwa ni karibu watu 5, wale wamejeruhiwa zaidi hawezi endelea na kazi yetu hapa. Na sasa hata wameamua sasa wakae nyumbani sababu hawajiwezi.
At the country's largest referral hospital, the Kenyatta National Hospital, in the orthopedic ward, a young man clings to hope that he will be able to walk again soon. George Odero is just another victim of the many accidents along Mombasa Road. The Juakali panel beater and spray painting artisan has been out of work for over a month now. He recalls vividly the events on that early July evening when he was knocked by a vehicle.
Nilikuwa navuka Mombasa Road Bellevue nikitoka side ya South C kana elekea South B. So hizo magari za kutoka airport nilivuka tu vizuri. Sasa kufika Mombasa Road hiyo side hizo magari za kutoka town nikavuka vizuri. Sasa line ya mwisho ndio gari ikakuja ikanigonga nikisavuka.
Inside Ward 6 at KNH, victims of similar accidents continue to recuperate. Hundreds of kilometers from Bellevue, South Sea, in Rangwe constituency, Homa Bay County, our search for the family of a woman who died in an accident along Mombasa Road as her son watched begins. Through these rural parts, we are able to trace the devastating effects of a major highway's killer crossing on the lives of many a great distance away. As we arrive at the affected homestead, the signs of poverty are clear for all to see. The gaping holes in the heart of Mama Makleana Njiri remain a stark reminder of the gap left in the lives of the young children here. In 2006, Mama Makleana had traveled to Nairobi, South Sea, to visit her son Peter Aguko, a mechanic. After exchanging pleasantries, her son escorted her to the Bellevue crossing, from where they hoped she would proceed to South B to board a matatu to Kibera. As the son accompanied her, he watched in horror as disaster struck.
Maisha yake yote ni huyo kijana ndiye alikuwa anampa pesa ya kujisaidia. Sasa vile alienda huko Nairobi, vile alikuwa kivuka barabara akienda kwa nyumba na gari ilimgonga mpaka akakufa hapo hapo. Alafu akarudishwa nyumbani tukamzika. Baada ya miaka miwili kijana yake naye akafa. Naye bibi yake naye akafa. Sasa mimi ndio nilibaki na hao watoto.
Tangu nyanya age dunia tuna miss maelezi yake na upendo wake kwa sababu ni yeye ndiye alikuwa anatupatia chakula.
Sasa hapa ndio mama alizikwa 2006.
Many hope that in the coming few days, the many deaths reported along Mombasa Road will be a thing of the past, that these killer crossings will just be parts of a dark, tragic chapter in the lives of pedestrians here.
Indeed, we do hope for that. Well, live at 1 takes a short break now. We are back with sports. Stay tuned.